Hey everybody, good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm First Alert meteorologist Chandler Jordan, and we're awaiting the arrival of yet another winter storm into South Carolina. Once we make it into the latter parts of your Tuesday, that's where this winter storm will arrive, and from there, accumulations of snow are likely across most of South Carolina, something we've been waiting quite some time for. I know last go around, a couple of us were lucky enough to pick up on a few flakes, and this go around, I think these opportunities will be a lot better off for us across the Midlands. Here's a look at First Alert satellite and radar as we wake up this morning, noticing how our winter storm starting to really take shape across the Gulf Coast as well as the deep south. A lot of snow this morning in places where we normally would talk about the tropics. Houston, New Orleans, Brownsville, Texas. These are all areas that have already seen snow this morning. And as we record this just before 9 o'clock Eastern time, a blizzard warning is in effect around Lake Charles, Louisiana. So there is a impactful winter system headed for South Carolina once we make it into the second half of the day. Now, as we wake up this morning, our radar returns are showing aloft in the upper parts of the atmosphere where our air is cold enough, trying to support the moistening of our atmosphere. And it's once our low gets closer that we'll start to see a couple of these snow showers begin to fall once we make it into the second half of the day. Your brand new First Alert this morning as we wake up to what is a winter storm warning that was added for a lot of our counties that you see in pink on your screen. This includes Aiken, Orangeburg, Calhoun, and Clarendon counties. This winter storm warning will remain in effect until tomorrow. Across the rest of the Midlands, a winter weather advisory has been issued. That's for all the counties that you see in purple. And the main difference between these two watches, advisories, and warnings is that the areas you see shaded in purple, where the winter weather advisory is currently in effect, that doesn't mean it will be dry. Accumulations are still likely to occur in these areas. It's just going to be a little bit less than what we have with our winter storm warning, which is where not only accumulations of snowfall are likely, but in these counties under the winter storm warning, it's more likely where we could get at least an inch of snow. And for some of us, even some locally higher amounts as these bands are able to make their way through. So here's First Alert Futurecast. I'll pick it up out there for you this morning. Cloudy skies, and we await the arrival of our moisture into South Carolina, which means that we stay dry until we make it into the afternoon. I think once we hit the second half of the day, this is going to be the point of time where we start to get a few of these additional snow showers to build into the region, and this activity will continue into your Tuesday evening and Tuesday night. Snow at times becoming widespread across much of the Midlands on Tuesday evening, and then once we get into the night tonight, as our area of low pressure continues to move along the coastline, it'll begin to take with it the snowfall that's in place out there, which means by 2 a.m., I think a lot of us are going to be dry, and then overnight and into Wednesday morning, we get some clearing. We'll start to dry out. Things not looking too bad for us. Once we wake up on Wednesday morning, of course, even though the sun is out, it will be very cold with temperatures well below freezing, which means that whatever falls will stick to roadways as accumulations begin to occur. Now, as far as our snowfall totals are concerned, here's the latest look at our snowfall forecast map, and pretty much for a lot of us in the Midlands, I think a dusting or a trace amount is what we'll have on tap, and then the farther south you go, the more likely it is that these accumulations become a little bit greater. I think places like Lexington, Columbia, Camden, Bishopville, Sumter are going to be some places where we could get close to 1 inch of snowfall, and then farther to the south where our winter storm warning is in effect, Orangeburg, St. Matthews, Springfield, Manning. These are going to be some communities where at least an inch of snowfall is likely to occur, and we could have some isolated portions of these communities, depending upon where these bands of snow set up, that could dump a quick 2 or maybe even 3 inches of snow in far southern portions of the Midlands. So the farther south you are, the more likely you see flakes later today, and the more likely you are to deal with accumulations of snowfall on the roadways. Now, here's a look at our Winter Storm Severity Index. This product pretty much tells us how the accumulations in our forecast could impact travel and roadways across the region. And I think that at some point, a lot of us are going to have some slick spots to deal with by Wednesday morning. And the farther south you live, the more likely that travel becomes a lot more difficult because of accumulations of snow on the roadways. I think the simple thing said and put is that if you have anywhere that you have to be tonight or Wednesday morning, to give yourself as much time as possible, but ideally you're able to stay home, stay warm, avoid the roadways until we get above freezing on Wednesday, closer to lunchtime and into this afternoon. So that's why First Alert weather days will remain in effect even after the snow is gone tomorrow morning. We barely get above freezing, and then whatever is able to briefly thaw and melt Wednesday afternoon will freeze hard once again. Thursday morning, temperatures are going to drop into the teens, but thankfully for the afternoon on Thursday, we get back into the 40s. That'll bring our First Alert weather days to a close, and then from there, Friday and into this weekend, a lot better off for us as high temperatures once again will start to make their way back into the 50s. The bottom line is that once we hit the afternoon and evening, that's where we're going to start to see these snow showers begin to occur. The heaviest rate of snowfall possible, I think, is going to be this evening and tonight from about 5 or 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. And then once we get past midnight and into the overnight hours, our system moves offshore. That'll take the snow with it. However, First Alert weather days will remain in place because of very cold temperatures that are able to continue to freeze whatever falls from the sky once we get into your Wednesday morning. Now, for your latest forecast update, remember, you can always head over to our website, wistv.com. We've got our First Alert weather tab where you can see our rotating article. You've got your latest hour-by-hour forecast. You can also check out your First Alert 10-day forecast. We've got a check of radar as well, so when you're ready to try and track some snow in the Midlands, this will be the place that you need to go to get that taken care of. For the entire First Alert weather team, I'm First Alert meteorologist Chandler Jordan. Make sure you join me at midday. I'll have your latest forecast updates on WIS News 10, on the NBC, and on the CW. You'll be able to join us at both places for your latest First Alert forecast. And make sure you stay right there. We've got what's new this morning for you coming up in just a few minutes.